Alright, WeVideo Introduction. To start, go to WeVideo.com, and then the sign in button is up in the upper right. It's pretty small. And go ahead and just log in with your Jeffco Google account and click all the buttons. Okay, once you get here, you've got some templates and stuff that you could start with if you want to, but in my experience it's kind of nice just to start with an empty project. So just click on that button that says Create, and here's your empty WeVideo project. This looks a lot like most video editors. So down here at the bottom is called the timeline. Over here in the upper right, that's your preview window, and then on the left here is your media bin where you've got your access to all your different stuff. So if you want to add all your own content, the first thing you probably want to do is record it on your phone, if that's where you plan to record your audio and video. Install the Google Drive app, and then upload your content to Google Drive, and then you can go to Uploads, and you'll be able to choose Add Media, and you can do Upload, and then you'll be able to choose Google Drive, and then you can import it. You click all the little buttons, continue, and you'll be able to access your Google Drive and import those videos straight into WeVideo. I'm not going to do that right now because I've already uploaded some stuff. So I've got some things here. Just for experimenting, before you've uploaded anything, you can actually just go to this little tab that says Videos, and here's a whole bunch of stock footage you could play with. So I'm just going to grab this turtle, and to add something to your project, just drag it down into your timeline. And because it's a video, you're going to want to put it on the video track, and because you want it to start at the beginning, drag it all the way to the left. And you've got your first video in there. To see what things look like, you can hit play, or notice you can also just press spacebar. And as you play, this blue line makes its way across. That's the playhead. It shows where you are in the video. So you can grab that, drag it back and forth, and you can add more videos just by dragging them in, snap them on, so we can add a few on there. And as I play, when I get to the next video, it will just cut to the next one. Now, sometimes you want to trim a video. Usually it's stuff you want to take off of the beginning or the end, and so let's look at how you can do that. When you're working with videos in the timeline, it can be helpful to zoom in so you can control a little bit more with a little more detail. There's this little magnifying glass over here. If I click that, it's zooming in on the timeline. So I've got kind of more granular control over where I am. So let's say this video right here with this deer. Let's say I wanted to chop off the beginning. All I actually have to do is go to the very beginning of the clip, wait till I get these little arrows and drag this forwards. Now I'm not chopping off the beginning. I've just trimmed the beginning. So if there was some intro roll on your interview or whatever that nobody was talking, you could do it that way. Same thing at the end. You just drag stuff off at the end, and then you just move it to close the gap. Whoops. And you've trimmed your piece of footage. So pretty straightforward. Now sometimes you want to take something out of the middle of your clip. Maybe there was a long silence, or maybe someone sneezed 14 times, you want to take it out. For that, you're going to want these little scissors here that says split. Also the key is S. So I can just go wherever I want, click split, and now this is 2 tracks. And I can trim them just like before. I could just drag this way, drag this way, and I've taken out the center part of that video. There's another way we can do though. I'm going to press Control Z to undo, or I can click this undo button a couple times till we're back here. Because an easier way to take out something you don't like is probably to go to the beginning of the part you don't want, make a split, then go to the end of the part that you don't want, make another split, and then just delete the part in the middle, which is the part you didn't want. Just click on it, press delete on the keyboard, or click the delete button, and then you can drag these back. And now you've cut out whatever piece of this you didn't want in there. And I'll undo that also because this parrot is just fine with me. Okay, so that's pretty much it as far as editing pieces of video. Now, sometimes you want to add transitions. So actually, the parrot was a good example for that. I'm going to click redo, go back to where I was a second ago. Because if you've got something like this, pretend this is an interview with a person and not an interview with a parrot. If you have a cut where things jump like that, that looks weird, kind of looks sloppy, maybe looks like an accident. If you're really cutting forward in time, you probably want to add just a transition. So you can go to this transitions tab here. There's a whole lot of different transitions. Most of them you're going to want to avoid because they look tacky and terrible. Like, never use curtains unless you're really going for a cheesy aesthetic. The best one to use is probably just crossfade, the very first one. You just drag that between two clips, you'll see it turns green, and now if you hit play, you'll see it fades from one to the other. Now if I were fading between, say, like this clip and this clip, a 1 second fade, that looks good. But if I'm jumping forward in time within the same clip, like skipping part of an interview, for example, that's kind of slow. It's a little too much. And if I click on it, I can see that's 1 second. Doesn't sound like very long, but it actually kind of is. So I'm going to go to this and change this. Now sometimes this can be really buggy, like it's not even letting me delete this. I'm going to put, let's see, they've got some serious issues here. I'm going to try to make this 0.5 seconds if I can. It's really unbelievably bad. I do not know what they have done here to make this so bad. Okay, I'm going to select it. Maybe that's the secret. And do 0. Okay, I typed 0. It went to 0.4. I'm going to go with it. Close enough. Hopefully they fix that soon. But if I were to hit play right now, that's better. Pretty quick, pretty subtle, but at least it looks intentional. And that's basically it in terms of editing just video itself. Now if I wanted to add a soundtrack to this, I could go to the audio tab. There's a bunch of built-in canned music here. I could drag one of these in, and if I hit play, that's actually pretty good for a turtle, isn't it? Now be careful adding background music to your videos, because if it's too loud, it's going to be really hard to hear people talk. In fact, you probably want to make sure it's off at times when people are talking. So you can disable audio. If you want to totally mute it, just click this little speaker icon. That will mute the whole track. Totally off. Sometimes though, you want to be able to fade audio in or out over time. So you can click these three little dots and you can choose audio and opacity, and then you can choose show audio level. That gives you this little blue bar with these little circular handles. So if I grab that handle and I drag it down, now it's starting at totally silent and fading in over time. Probably don't want it to fade in over the course of the entire track, but if I hover over the bar again, I get this little plus and I can add another control handle. So I could make it fade in much more quickly like this. And if for some reason I wanted to fade back out, add another handle, drag it down. And I could do that as many times as I want to. Not sure why you would, but you could fade in and out. Now, if you add a handle and you realize you don't want it anymore, just double click the little circle and it will go away. And so if you want an entire track to be quieter, one way of doing that is just to, I'm just going to zoom out here so I can see the whole thing, just to grab the handle, drag this down to 50% volume-ish, and do that at both ends. Now my track is half as quiet. So if you have a bunch of clips and you want them to be the same volume, you can always adjust that way. Now that's only if it's a separate audio file, like a soundtrack like this. I'm going to go ahead and just click on this and delete. Often, most of the time, actually, your audio is going to be part of your video. So I'm going to delete. I can click and drag to select, delete these. See if it will let me. Not sure why it's. Guess it wants me to do one at a time. Okay. Let me bring in a video file that actually has some audio embedded in it. Let's see. Here we go. Here's an interview with a former assistant principal of ours. So if I drag this in, put it in the video track,
do you think are most influential on teens today? So what things like movies and music and celebrities do you think are most influential? How do you hope to influence?
All right, I'm going to hit play.
How do you hope to influence your student?
But yeah, I'd like to just be somebody that
Okay.
has strength, which I really.
So I've got a video with some audio. Maybe you zoom in a little bit. Notice that I can't see the audio though. It's just, I just see the video. So just kind of as I did before, if I click these three little dots and I go to audio and opacity, I can do show audio level. Now I can see the waveform. The waveform is just that graphic representation of the sound. So if it's totally flat, there's no sound. If there's big bumps in there, it means it's pretty loud. And now as I play,
How do you hope to influence your students?
I'll be able to see that as I go. And just as before, I can adjust the audio level with these little handles. So if I want to, at a certain point, make the sound fade out, click, make a little handle, just like that, much as I want to.
Yeah, I hope to just be able to be a sounding board.
So that's useful if you want to fade something in or out at the beginning or end, etc. You can also add images. So here's some stock images here. You can go to backgrounds. So maybe just a black background as an intro, it might be kind of nice here. And a good thing to put on top of a black background might be a title introduction here. So text would be one of the last things to take a look at. You go to text, you can just drag in one of these items, like the simplest ones are just a text box. Just says something. If you double click it, you can change what it says and then click done. This is one area where some of the templates are actually pretty nice. So I'm going to delete this one and see if I can find a nice one here. This one that says multi-line, I'm going to click see all. I'm going to go back. Let's see. There was one that was pretty cool. How about captions? Yeah, this one's kind of cool. So especially for introducing a person, this one that says primary text, secondary text, is kind of neat because I could put, for the primary text in this example, maybe Miss Dodge, and then secondary text, I could put assistant principal. And then when I click done, now when I hit play, got her name, got the title. So if you've got an interview with someone, that's a really nice way of getting started. And then I adjust this, adjust this back here. Maybe add a little transition in between, and a little crossfade here. Give this a try.
How do you hope to influence your students?
That's looking pretty good. So, you've seen how to edit clips of video, how to trim off the beginning, the end, in the middle. You've seen how to add audio tracks. You've seen how to change the volume of audio tracks. You've seen how to change the volume of video tracks, how to add images, how to add just backgrounds, how to add text. Let's see, is there anything else here? That's probably about enough. So once you're done, the final couple steps. First, give it a better name. Real project name here, whatever this is. Don't call it my project. Then click up on export in the upper right corner. You should have your name, your project name already there. One thing you're definitely going to want to change is change standard definition to HD, because it's going to look a lot better than if you do standard. Now, if you're just making an audio file that you just want to use to play back as a podcast or something, you probably could get away with switching just to podcast MP3 only. Although if it's going to be something on YouTube, as you guys probably know, YouTube videos require a video. So you'd still probably want to export as a video and maybe just put some kind of nice background, some kind of abstract video to go behind your audio. So most of the time you are going to be exporting as video. Now at this point, if I were to just click export, it's going to invite me to, it's going to process my video, and when it's done, it's going to invite me to download it as an MP4. Now, this is going to take a little while. I might even click done right now. I think it will just allow it to keep processing. And if I go to exports, I can see it has my project here, but because it's gray and says we, that means it's not done exporting yet. It's going to be grayed out, and if I try to go to download it, so I'm going to have to wait. It's telling me that. It'll take a little while to process, and when you click on it, you should end up eventually having a download button here. You can also click share. It looks like from here you could actually send it straight to Google Drive, so it doesn't really matter when you do that piece. Looks like it might be done processing. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so once that's done, that's when you could click download and get an MP4 file to save to your drive, or you could click share, send to Google Drive, and it will tell you when it's done. And that's about it. Good luck.